When I was a child, we have this very funny figure in our literature. It's called Nasreddin Hoca. The guy is very funny, but very clever and smart. He is generally known for his wisdom. So now, in terms of Nasreddin Hoca, which is like a funny teacher of like Central Asian Turkic people, and one day he has this famous donkey passing the bridge, and there was a hole on the bridge. So the donkey hurts its leg, right? So it's saying that the since second time, the same donkey passing the same bridge, he was always be very careful, so would not make the same mistake. The moral of the story is, you know what? Like this donkey is so smart that it would not make the same mistake second time again, which is kind of, I believe, is beautiful. But as I grew up, what I've learned is this, right? Now, imagine you hurt yourself in a hole, right? You made a mistake, right? You suffered from something and then you don't share with anyone. You don't do anything. You just move on. What's going to happen is people come after you. They're going to make the same mistake again. So, oh, okay. So if you're donkey in a level of intelligence or wisdom, you don't make the same mistake again. But if you're genuine, nice, decent human being, what you do is you made a mistake, you got hurt, and you make sure the others don't make the same mistake so they can be more productive. You know what I'm saying? So I am 41 this year. I believe that I don't want to known for like my successes in the future. If one day I became billionaire, I will write book on solely all the things I screw up in life. Because we have all these billionaires and successful people always talking about, I was poor, I started from scratch, I went through this difficult time, and all the things like this. And what they do is they talk about why they're successful. Now, one day I want to write a book. Hopefully, you guys can purchase that time. Okay, about every mistake I made in life, so you don't make, and your life will be much better. Hopefully, avoiding those mistakes. Okay. Now, this session is going to be 90 minutes, and one of my style is I would rather be straightforward. So something that I wrote here, it's from my heart. Okay, that means that I am less worried about being politically correct. Means that some people they don't want to offense people. They want to be like play safe. Like, what is the point of being hypocrite, right? So I was like, you know what? Life is short. There's no reason to like mess around. Let me be honest. Let me be authentically myself. Some people might find it useful. Some people may not. But some of you guys might find my presentation very straightforward and also sometimes offensive. Now, can I have like your permission to be authentic? But sometimes it can be very straightforward. You will not be upset and you will not be offended by my presentation today. Thank you so much. Let's get started, okay? I am going to share my screen. The thing is this, right? This is me in 2008. I give you exact address. It's called Amity Halal Market in Fairfax, Virginia. When I came to United States, the only language I spoke other than my mother tongue, Uyghur, was Turkish language. So I found a job in a Turkish grocery store, and I love the owner. We're a great friend right now. This store is still in my heart. Anyway, this is me in 2008. I was making $8 an hour. That time was good money for somebody arriving in the United States. Now, what I want to say is this. All the Saturdays, Sundays, people go for picnic and barbecue, right? So what I did is I was in there too, just like everybody else, but I chose to spend my weekends, evenings on showing up on something that is going to be making a difference in my life. So, what I did is while others are enjoying the weekends, I invested my weekend for a better future. It could be reading a book, it could be listening audible, it could be attending a seminar like this. So I'm not saying this seminar will change your life. I'm saying that I was there because of my mindset, not 1 year, not after New Year resolution, after 2 weeks. After years of accumulation of similar effort, my life changed. I'm providing better life for my family. I'm useful for my community. Why? Because I chose to empower myself on my spare time. And today I want to congratulate all of you because today is Saturday. What most people do, they Netflix, they chill, they do nothing, and you're showing up and learning something new for you and for your family. And I want to congratulate you for that and thank you for that. Now, we wanted to talk about New Year resolution became such a kind of, I would say, a culture in America. Every time in the new year, people like New Year resolution, right? This year in 2026, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Okay, let's look back. I want you to think about 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, all the way to 2025. Now, did you achieve what you want to achieve in these old years? Were you able to achieve what you want to achieve? 5 years passed. 5 years ago, if you have this session, probably have a strategic understanding of how we should put our life together, how should we move forward in life. It's not based on emotion, dopamine, okay, short-term excitement, but long-term strategy. I believe, here's the thing, okay, people overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year. Oh, in 1 year, I'm going to get an IT job. In 1 year, I'm going to start a business and make it profitable. In 1 year, I'm going to do this and do that. People generally overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year, and people generally underestimate what they can achieve in 5 years. In 5 years, you can achieve in such a way that you can achieve your financial freedom. You can start your company. I don't know, sometimes in 5 years, you can start a country, right? So things can significantly, I would say, better if you don't think in 1 year cycle, if you think from 4 year, 5 years, 10 years cycle. So I'm going to get into that in a bit in a deeper manner, right? So 90%, I would say 90% is like generous number. I would go for 99% of the New Year resolution. It doesn't work out. Here's why, okay? Now, here's the thing. We have this thing called dopamine, which is like, it's basically motivation. It's a temporary motivation. You get this energy and you're like, you know what, this year I'm going to achieve all these things. At the end of the year, you have all the thoughts. Starting from 2026, I would say lose weight, showing up in the gym, signing up for the courses, starting my business, quitting smoking, whatever, right? You have all this goals for 2026 or after New Year's. So it's interesting. I don't know if you have any gym membership. Show up after, like, say, January 1st, January 2nd. For the first 2 weeks of January, I want you to go to the gyms and to show up and see what are the people doing there in the gym. And what you're going to see is gym is full for the first 2 weeks. And what's going to happen after 2 weeks, people are gone, right? Same thing for reading books, signing up courses. People buy all these things and they disappear after 2 weeks. Why? They go back to the same trap or cycle they were in 2024, 2025. It's the same life. So here's the thing, right? So how does it work is when you are in such a desperate situation, many students or many people in level, here's the thing. If you look at me in 2028, I was desperate. I want to desperately make money fast. I want to be desperately successful fast, right? So now, when you have this desperate psychology, what's going to happen is this. Once you get started, okay? Now, imagine you're showing up for the gym or you have this goal, right? So 1 week, 2 weeks is going fine, but after 3 weeks, this is what's going to happen when you leave paycheck to paycheck or have hardship in life is when everything is so tight, you have check engine light in your car, you have flat tire, something happened, okay? I mean, your roof is leaking, something will happen, and then you missed one session of workout, one session of class, one day of something, and then because you're so busy with the other things, and then you're just so overwhelmed because it's based on excitement after second, third, fourth weeks, life, the pressure of real life will break you down, and most people quit because for them, either is all or nothing. There's no gradual improvement. There's no, I would say, step-by-step improvement. It has to be so much excitement, so much energy from the beginning, and then all or nothing. It means that after a few days of not getting result, after a few weeks, they quit, right? So when you see this cycle, you have an ambitious goal, okay? You see this one on the first, on the left, on the right? You have ambitious goal. You want to change your life. You want to lose weight, whatever you want to do. And then something happens in life, stress hits, okay? And then you cannot handle, most people quit and they revert to back to their own old life, whatever they're doing. They go back and they feel guilt in their heart. Oh my God, this year I screwed up again. I'm not good enough, right? Those psychologies really, really mess people up so they don't move forward in life. I have this three, I would say, pillar of success. Okay. When we say success, let's say there's a rich person, there's a famous person. When you look into their Wikipedia, what is the most important, I would say, success indicator? What do you guys think? All the successful people that we look up to, okay, famous people, what is one of the most important success indicator? So here's the thing. One of the way in this world we measure people's success in the current setup is people's net worth. Oh, Jeff Bezos' net worth is this much. Okay. Sam Bankman's net worth is this much. That guy's net worth is that much. So many billions, so many millions. That is why we call them millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire, whatever, trillionaire, right? So we measure success with money, I would say, in general, right? So now I would say money will not solve all problem. Money will not bring happiness, but I promise you, when I make more money, I was happier. So money is important. So can we all assume as a normal human being, okay, we also believe if we have a lot of money, we're more successful. More money means more success, isn't it? So now here's the thing. If you ask yourself, right, the reason you went to college, learn certain things, because most of the time you believe that you're going to get a good job. Let's say you want to be a doctor, you want to be an engineer, and you think, you know what, I'm going to get a good job. So why good job? Because good job will give you good pay. Good pay means good money means good life. Good life means success, right? So whatever we want to do, whether you want to start a business, it's somehow it tied to what? Money, right? So means that when we measure success or when we have a goal at the end of the day, we want to make more money, which is a wallet issue or pocket issue. People always start from this right, which is chasing the pocket. So now I would argue starting from the pocket is the wrong way to start your success journey. Okay. Most people chase pocket, they end up chasing pocket for the rest of their life. Why? Because they have issue in heart. Their heart is not even fixed. When your heart is not fixed, your mind is not fixed, your mind is broken, and that's why your pocket is broke. So when you go back to fundamentals, how do you fix your heart first? We start from heart and we start from mind. Once our heart and mind are fixed, let's say have the foundation for success, then as an outcome, one day you will reach the money. You will make the money. Otherwise, if you skip the first and the second step of fixing your heart and fixing your mind, you will not able to fix your pocket. That's why most people chase money and never have enough money. Okay? Now, what do I mean by that? I would say humbly religious person, I believe in God. And I've seen from my own community, there are people, they believe in God. I believe, right? But if you have conversation with them, why do you believe in God? And they're like, because I want to go to heaven. Okay, so if there's no heaven, you won't believe in God? And you ask some people, why do you believe in God? Because I don't want to go to hell. Oh, so if there's no hell, you don't believe in God? So since I did not exist before, one of the greatest blessing in life is to be exist, right? So can you imagine that you never had an opportunity to come to this world? Isn't it so scary, non-existence? So I believe just because God created me out of nothing, I was not here 42 years ago, okay? I did not exist, but God created me, right? Gave me oxygen, sunshine, health, all these things, right? You want to buy a chocolate, it costs you $5, $6. You have to work half an hour in a minimum wage. The cost of chocolate is half an hour. The cost of a car is 3, 4 months of like salary if you don't eat, right? The cost of the house is what? Is like you have to work for entire life. Most people, when they die, they don't have a payoff house. Everything comes with cost. Now, I want to ask you, how much did you pay for your heart? Just think about it. Your heart is pumping 100,000 times a day. And what subscription did you pay? You're paying subscription to Netflix. You're paying subscription to your internet to work properly. I want to ask you, how much did you pay for your heart? Apple Vision Pro is $3,000. How much do you pay for your vision? How much would you sell your vision? If I pay you $1 billion today and say, give me your two eyes, or a pair of eyes in proper English, would you sell your eyes? Would you sell your eyes for $1 million or to $1 billion? Just think about it. Everything comes with cost. But when God gives you everything for free, and we don't appreciate, and for that reason, dear God, if you did not motivate me with heaven, if you did not scare me with hell, just because I existed, I need to be loyal to you. That is why I worship you, God. Even though if heaven did not exist, the hell did not exist, I would still be your slave, dear God, right? That is the right purpose. Otherwise, there are people, they worship heaven, okay? So that's the wrong way of worshiping. Now think about the same similar thing. I married my wife, I would say probably 21 years ago. I was absolutely broke. I didn't have any money and I was fugitive. When I say I'm fugitive, in the communist country, I was criminal against communist country. So I was a good guy. In communism, if you're a good guy, you're enemy of the state, right? So my wife, she married me anyway. But can you imagine if she said, Kuzat, I marry you because of your car, because of your house, all the things, because I want a Chanel bag. So is that the purpose of marriage? Now, she has everything today, but she did not marry me for the house, for the car. But she loved me. That was the purpose of we're being together. And then the outcome was the beautiful life. Now, just think about it. When you worship God properly, itself, the right purpose is worshiping God. The outcome is heaven. When you marriage, the right purpose is what? The right purpose is love. Outcome is happiness. So when you're starting from right purpose, why would you do certain things? Why would you do what you do? Starting from why is fixing your heart. Now, why do you want to make money? Can you think about it? The reason I want to make money, I've heard this thing from one of my community members. Once upon a time, he said, one day I'm going to get an IT job. We were all broke that time. I'm going to drive some sports car. I'm going to stop by and I'm going to make everybody jealous. I was like, what the hell? What kind of mindset is this, right? So now when you think about that, those people will be broke for the rest of their life because their beginning point, their heart is, they started from the wrong way. Now, do you want to be successful? Do you want to change your life in 2026? Do you want to be, I don't know, millionaire by 2030? Do you want to start your business next year? I don't know. But why do you want to do that? Is that purely for money? If it's purely for money, there's no difference. And you call those people gold digger, or like they find the rich person to marry just because they have money, they have car, they have, I don't know, Chanel bags, whatever. So they marry those people. You call them gold digger, but you yourself chasing money all the time. So isn't it, I would say, a paradox, right? So that is why fixing from your heart, your purpose is the most important thing. I want you to ask yourself, why do we worship? Why do we marry? Why do we study? Why do we start a business? Why do you want to make money? Why do you want to be successful? Now, I want to kind of share with you that in 2008, I came to United States and I started working. I was just like, I just need to work. I mean, I cannot live on off of food stamps, stuff like that. In 2011, I was a package delivery driver and I was delivering package. I mean, I paid my rent, but I've heard people were doing IT. They were coding, stuff like that. And I don't have a college degree. And I said, I want to get an IT job. Okay. Why do I want to get an IT job? Because I want to make more money. And why do I want to make more money? Do I want to show up my Gucci shirt? Do I wanted to show up my car? Like my friend said that time, he's not my friend, by the way, but that time we were like one of the community member, he wanted to show off his car to others to make them jealous and envy. My purpose was simple. It was not changing the world, making the world a better place, saving the humanity. It was not like that. I was like, you know what? This woman, my wife, she left her family for me. Okay. Her family was very wealthy back home. And she came to this country with me as a refugee. Now she's living in somebody else's basement. Now we have two kids. As a man, as a father, it's my responsibility to take care of my family. The reason I want to learn coding is because I want to provide better life to my wife and my kids. It was not changing the world. It was very simple. And that is why, because my purpose was not money, but my family, when things get hard, after 2 weeks of learning something, after 2 weeks of reading books, after 2 weeks of not understanding algorithm, data structure, whatever, I didn't get frustrated because whenever I get frustrated, whenever I want to quit, I think of my two kids. That time I have four now. I have four kids now. That time, and I think about my wife, think about my kids. That is why I did not quit. So, what does that mean? This is, I think, important. The cheaper your purpose, the lower your achievement. The higher your purpose, the higher your achievement, right? So, what is your purpose? If your purpose is cheap, I want to have luxury life, right? I want to eat well, whatever. I don't know. Some materialistic thing, I would say it's a very cheap way to start your journey. But if your purpose is your family, I want to take care of my mom. I want to take care of my dad. I want to take care of my community. I want to do something that is beneficial. I want to do something that's beyond myself. That is called higher purpose. The higher your purpose, the higher your achievement. When I wanted to start a business in 2000, I would say 15, it was not purely about money. My thought was this. Remember in the beginning, I said this donkey? How do I become a better donkey? Nasreddin Hoca. How do I become a better donkey? If that donkey suffered certain things, that donkey would say, a better donkey like me would say, you know what? I don't want others to suffer. So, because of my first 3 years, 4 years in the United States was so difficult, once my life is changed, I thought, you know what? Why people have to go through, immigrants have to go through the life that I've been through? Why people have to suffer? There was upon a time, my son has like asthma, and we keep going to ER when he had attack, thousands of dollars. We didn't have insurance every single time. And there were a time I'm so scared to pay hospital anything because I was broke. Okay. I had to wait for my son to be not able to breathe. When I see that he's dying, that I went to hospital. I said, why people have to go through this? That's why I started this educational institution to share my success so others don't have to suffer like me. So it was not about money. It was not about making a lot of money. Guess what? Because I started with the right purpose that I don't want others to suffer like me, that was the purpose. My business was so successful. When I get into politics as well, when I get into politics, I do advocate for Uyghur people. They're in East Turkestan occupation under the Chinese Communist Party. They're going through a genocide. It was not about I want to be this like political savior. It was not what I want to be a leader of Uyghur people. I genuinely believe for the sake of God, I came to United States. There's a reason that I have freedom and they don't. Since I have the freedom that they don't have, therefore I have to pay my tax. You know what I'm saying? From my freedom. So I started fighting for their freedom. Today, after 7, 8 years, okay, the concentration camp in China started around 2017. Okay, that time we had hundreds of so-called activists, politicians, all those things started joining this journey against Chinese Communist Party. Today, after 7 years, 99% is gone. And I'm still fighting against China. Why? Because I had the right purpose. That's why I don't quit. You want to do something meaningful in life, you have to do it long enough to get the result. But if you do like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, expecting result is extremely foolish. So, moral of the story, at the end of the slide, what I want to say is remember, whatever you want to do, I want you to think from your heart, start from your heart, starting from your purpose. Why do I want to do this? Once you have a right purpose, a higher purpose, and I promise you every single time, you will have higher achievement. Okay? This is, he's my hero. This guy is my hero. Okay? Who is this? His name is Marco. This is a Japanese anime. This is my favorite anime because this guy is such a resilient boy. He was searching for his mom. The reason it resonated with me is when I was 6 years old, my parents got divorced and my mom leave us, right? And I grew up with my stepmother. And every time when I watch this guy going from all the way from Italy to Argentina, okay, he goes through so much difficulties and finally he finds his mother, right? So when I see him, I see this boy of resilience. I see this boy of determination, bravery, right, by himself and his little monkey. He's looking for his mom. And I had to wait for this cartoon every single day. In that time, we have this TV, and the TV has a certain schedule, right? It's not based on demand. It's not based on schedule. We have like one or two Uyghur TV channel, one or two channel, right? Now you have all the content creator. So it was 7 p.m. I had to wait for my favorite cartoon every single day until 7 p.m. Okay. If I want apricot, we call örük. Gora. Pezlet, you look like Uyghur, right? You know Gora? It's like apricot that is like in the springtime, but it's like in the springtime apricot. It's so delicious. I had to wait until the spring. For pomegranate, I have to wait until the summer, right? And back then, we didn't have new clothes whenever we want. We have to wait for the holidays. One or twice a year, we have our holidays, eat, clothings that we can buy. At that time, our brain was trained for if you want something good and you want your favorite cartoon, you have to wait until 7 p.m. You want apricot, you have to wait until spring. You want a pomegranate, you have to wait until summer. Or you want to buy a new clothes, new pants, you have to wait for 1 year for the holiday. We knew how to wait. Now, today, what are you waiting? Tell me there's something that you're waiting and it doesn't happen immediately. Today, I have this is my Instagram feed, guy. By the way, if you look at this guy, you see that? It's my picture right there. This is my Instagram feed. It is so embarrassing. I was like, what the hell? It's like a donkey. Look at this animal. So, anyway, this is my Instagram feed, right? Today, that's not the point. Today, we are Insta Eat, Insta Watch, Insta Shop, Insta Trash, Insta Gratification, Insta Satisfaction. And we want everything right here, right now, under our fingertips. We forgot how to wait for something. When this happens enough in your life, you want everything immediately. If something does not happen immediately and you're disappointed and you want to quit, that is the problem. The dopamine that we are releasing through our cell phones, through our screens, have rewired our brain. Do you know how important it is to rewire your brain? Now imagine, guys, imagine a city. It was a little village 100 years ago, and there was no road. And then people start moving shops, businesses, houses, stuff like that. Over time, the highway network, road network is established over time. It takes hundreds of years to establish a city network of the roads and highways, isn't it? It takes time. You cannot just say, you know what, let's build new city all of a sudden, middle of nowhere. In 1 year, we're going to make entire network of highways. You cannot do that. It takes hundreds of years to do that. Your brain is like that. The reason people don't change, it is because it's your physical wire in your brain. Every single time you have those neurons, right? It fires electricity and this neurons receives it. So every single time it keeps firing and then they get connected. That's called neural network. That is why the way we think, we believe, our behavior, our attitude, our habits are physical wire in our brain because that's how we trained ourselves. Therefore, if you want to change yourself so quickly, all of a sudden a lazy person will not become hardworking person. A negative person will not become a positive person overnight. It's just like a retraining, rewinding your neural network. Now, when was the iPhone released? 2007. It is almost how many years? And until today, it's been what? It's been 18 years, right? And can you imagine? The boy was born in 2007. He's 18 today. He doesn't know Nokia, or she. The new generation grew up with instant gratification. Everything right here, right now. I don't want to wait, right? Now, look at this, guys. What is this? Tomato. How do you get tomato? Can you remind me how do you get tomato, guys? How do you get tomato is if you want tomato, you open your fridge. It's right there. Okay? If it's not there, you open your Insta shop, Instagram or not Insta, whatever Instacart, and you order tomato. Arrives, right? And it's on your table. And you never understand how long it take for this tomato to come to your table. You don't have that concept. You forgot. Let's go for this, okay? It's been 4 years, 3, 4 years. I've been raising my own garden bed. And I genuinely suggest if you could start your own little farm in your house. First of all, I used to pay a couple $100 per session to my PhD, highly educated therapist. Okay. After like 13 sessions, I know what she's going to say. She has memorized all these things. And I was like, oh, okay, this is saving game again. Right. So what happened is once I started my own garden bed, raising my own like plants, okay, I didn't have to pay for the groceries, number one. Number two, I didn't have to pay my therapist as well. So I strongly suggest you guys, if you have ability, like start a small little garden in your house or backyard. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about tomato is this, guys. Now, I grow my own tomato. This is how it works. When you put a seedling, okay, in 1 month, this is how it's going to go. You put the seedling, you have to water every day, okay? You have to keep it humid. You have to put effort, right? So not every seedling will sprout. So approximately, I would say 10 days or so, the little sprout will come out, right? So you have to keep maintaining it, right amount of water, stuff like that, heat, right? So this is how big it's going to become in 2 months. This is a tomato plant in 2 months. This is 3 months. This is AI generated, by the way. I think this is too big, but still 2, 3 months, you can think that it's going to be like slightly bigger, 5 months. And you know what? For your first tomato, to harvest your tomato from your own garden, it's going to take at least 6 to 7 months. Okay? Now, I want you to take this, just think about it. A tomato takes 6 to 7 months to grow when you want to eat the tomato. Now, if a tomato takes 6 to 7 months, why people want to be successful in 6, 7 months? You want to change your life, you want to start a business, you want to change your career, you want to achieve something in the 6, 7 months where only like if you can grow one tomato. Isn't it too aggressive? Isn't it too over ambitious? When you grow your own tomato, you will understand how to be patient, how to wait for things. Your brain wired, okay? Insta shop, insta read, insta watch, insta gratification, insta satisfaction. If something is not insta, something is not instant, and then we quit. We don't want it, we don't want to do. That is why 99% people, they quit because their brain is insta. Insta screwed our brain. I'm sorry. Now you have to rewire it. How do you rewire? Next spring, plant tomato. Okay. So it takes time for grow something. Now, what I want to say is this, right? We quit because we don't see result and we feel like it's not working. Because in the beginning, our expectation was wrong. If you start with the wrong expectation, you end up with disappointment very quickly. Does it make sense to you guys? Let's say Zubair, imagine Zubair, you are 12 years old and $100 is a lot of money, okay? And you're expecting $100 from your dad in a day of holiday. You wake up and your dad gives you $50. Will you be disappointed or you'll be happy? Because your expectation is 100. Now you get $50. I would say you will be disappointed. Okay. Now, Zubair, you're 12 years old. Your expectation was $10 from your dad in the holiday. And he wakes up in the morning, he feels good, he gives you same $50. Because your expectation was $10, okay? When your dad gives you 50, and you're so happy. You see that? A same Zubair, same age, same $50. Just because of his expectation was not the same. When you have higher expectation or wrong expectation, you end up with disappointment. When you have right expectation, you end up with happiness. So just like that, when your expectations is achieved, move the mountain overnight, over 7 months, or 1 year, whatever, short period of time, so people, they get disappointed. Disappointment makes them quit what they do. But imagine people quit in this stage. Imagine some people quit in this stage in 2 months. Some people quit in 3 months. Some people quit in 5 months. All right. Whoever can wait long enough, they're going to harvest this entire, I would say, collection. I don't know how to say it in English, but collection of tomato. That is why when you don't quit, when you have right expectation from the beginning, when you're not expecting insta success, you will be more likely successful than those insta success. Now, in terms of insta, I want to talk about something right here. Imagine there are two different soccer team, two different soccer team. Now, if you're team donkey, okay, and then you watch this team elephant, they have like 11 people in there, player, and all of them are drug addict. Okay, they're drug addict. And how hard do you have to work as a team donkey to win the match, win the game? Tell me, how hard do you have to work? If your competitors are all drug addict, what do you have to do to be successful? Just think about that. This is a pretty important question, guys. So the reason I say that is this. You know what? When your opponent, okay, when the other teams are drug addict, I mean, you don't have to work that hard. You just have to be a normal person. Normal person means that if you're not drug addict, you will definitely win the game because the other side is drug addict. So what am I trying to say? The social media today we have, the phone today we have, it's like drug. From a neuroscience perspective, I'm not making this up. Look it up. You can ask ChatGPT. From the neuroscience perspective, your phone is like a drug, and everybody's addicted to their phone. Insta, like this, like this. They wake up like this, they sleep like this, they go like this, right? So when everybody is insta drunk, insta lost, insta confused, insta addict, all you gotta do is not to be addict. If you're not addict to your phone, like you're halfway successful. You don't have to work that hard. Can you imagine if everybody's loser like that? Like there's nothing you have to do. Just be a normal person. You're gonna be successful. Just imagine that. We have this mysterious enemies in our mind. I want to compete with that guy. I'm going to show this guy. All these things. You have all this enemy in your mind that you compete with. And then you didn't know the enemy is your phone. Fight your phone, not your enemy. And you're going to win your enemy. Okay? So we were here. So if we cannot commit for a certain period of time, we should not expect success, even if tomato is taking 7 months. Don't expect to make $100,000, $1 million, whatever, in very short period of time. You have to rewire your brain in a way that it is not insta anymore. Okay? I think that's the important one. Now let's assume that you want to do that now. I understand. First of all, my heart, I found the right purpose. Second, in my mind, I have right attitude, right thought process to be successful. Now I want to do something. I want to start a business. I want to get a new career, whatever you want to do, right? So from there, how do we move forward from this step, right? Now, this is Mona Lisa, and let's assume this guy is Leonardo da Vinci, okay? Now, Da Vinci is probably one of the greatest artists in the history, and he's very famous, this Mona Lisa. I went to Paris. I looked at the original Mona Lisa. I don't know why people love it. I feel like it's very ugly, but sorry about that. But anyway, so assume he is painting Mona Lisa, but this guy, all he's thinking about, he's hungry because he didn't have enough bread. He didn't have shelter. He doesn't have food to eat. Now, I want you to assume if Da Vinci's number one goal in life is filling his stomach because he's hungry, do you think that he can produce this beautiful art? Do you think so? It would be very less likely. When you have tremendous pressure on your shoulder, it's going to be less likely you're going to be able to do something. Just like that. Some people, they're already having so much in their life. They're far away from their family, something going on in their life. There's health issues, there are financial issues, right? They have to work 60 hours a week, 16 hours a day. So they're living paycheck to paycheck, so much pressure, mental pressure on them. So in that case, like when you go through the survival mode, how do you read book? How do you study something? Right? That's the question. Many people, because of that reason, they cannot break that cycle, right? So this is like interesting, I would say, a pyramid. It's called Maslow's pyramid. So it's like step by step process how people will have like success in life. If you see that, right? You have safety and security here in the second level. However, the foundation is basic. If you don't have food and shelter as a human, this is a basic psychological, biological need. Very basic one. If you don't have food and shelter and reproduction, it's very hard to think about the next level. So, this is the foundation. Means that we need to have something to eat, somewhere to stay. And most people in America, whatever they make, they pay rent. That's it. Their money's gone, isn't it? Because all the assets are owned by BlackRock, right? It's in our religion, it's not allowed to have like hoarding old assets like that. But in America, it's capitalism. That is why poor people, they have no place to live. Anyway, that's a different story. But basic psychological needs is food and shelter and the reproduction. Once you reach that level, you don't have to worry about your food and shelter. Then you can think about your health, your work, your property, right? Your family. That is why what you're going to see is when people don't have the basic needs fulfilled, they have more argument in family. They're more angry. They don't think about other things in life. All they think is, how do I pay my rent this month? How do I eat? How do I buy grocery? So you don't have space, mental space, psychological space in your mind to even think beyond food. So now let's assume that we break the cycle. Now we have safety and security, health, work, family, whatever, right? Once you have safety and security, then we talk about love, belongings. That's why when you see the middle class families, wife and husband, their relationship is better. I'm not saying poor people are fighting each other. I'm not saying that. When people have financial issues, they tend to be like very frustrated all the time. Small thing can trigger a big fight. Does it make sense to you? That is why even having a better life, financially better, will make you a better person. Financially better person is better for his family, to his society. But if somebody desperate in this level, that will push the worst out of human. If the more financials you have, if you assume that you have good values, it will push best out of you. So in this level, and the third level, then you can think about friendship, family, and sense of connection. And the next level is self-confidence, self-esteem. And then at the end is the self-actualization, which is a purpose, stuff like that. That is why when you see, interesting, couple things I want to talk about. In the United States, okay, when the king, thousands miles away from UK, from Great Britain, imposed 1% tax on tea, the people raised up in the United States were like very wealthy people, like George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, okay, like founding fathers, for example. These people are very wealthy in today's environment. They will be billionaires. Thomas Jefferson, for example. And they were beyond themselves. They're thinking about the entire country and why we have to pay tax without representation. You are like far away. You are what? You want to get tax from us? No, right? They're like, we want our freedom. You see that? They have a greater purpose. Even America's was founded by those people in this level of self-actualization. Now you go back in the history. I do apologize if you're Christian or you're non-Muslim. I'm just giving you like a case study. If you go back to history, the people in this level, self-actualization level, is Khadija, which is our mother. It's the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's first wife. She was a multi-billionaire at that time. and she was beyond herself. All her wealth was spent on the cause. Abu Bakr, he was a billionaire in today's situation. If not billionaire, let's say multi-hundred millionaire. And he spent his wealth and wisdom on the cause. Uthman, he was like that. Now, when you think about that, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, there's another guy. He was so rich that in one time he funded the entire army. Now, when you think about that, when you're in this level, most of the time, it's even hard for your family. If you see that, this is me here. In that level, I fought more with my wife. We had more argument. I even could not take care of my family in that level. Now, when I have moved higher up in that pyramid, I was able to even be a little bit more helpful to my family, my relatives, my parents, my community. That is why this is important. So if our life in here and here, what we need to do is in a conscious way, we have to move up from this cycle, okay, or this level. Now, here's the thing, right? Artificial intelligence, it's going to create barbell economy. What does that mean? You see this barbell, guys? You have two weights in the left and right, right? In the middle is empty. There's nothing in the middle. Either you're going to be high competency, high income in a knowledge economy, or you're going to be low in competency, low income, arms and legs economy. Literally, you have to rent your time and your physical ability to move things around, like package delivery, food delivery, cashier, waiter, whatever, right? So either you have to sell your labor or you have to sell your knowledge or problem solving. In between, AI is going to diminish or literally eradicate all the jobs or opportunities in the middle. That's called barbell economy. So now what's going to happen? Some people will be pushed up, forced to push up. Some of you guys might say, you know what? I will do my best to push myself up to higher income, higher competency, higher technical skills, higher knowledge economy. Does it make sense? I want to be there. Or many people will be pushing down themselves to low competency, low income. Let's say in 2023, we had this mass tech layoff or IT layoff or tech layoff or any like in the United States in terms of, we think of tech layoff, but let's say in the general economy, we have lots of layoff. When people got laid off, what they do to survive? Let's say you were a manager, okay, in a company, your account executive, whatever, you have this title. This person got laid off. And nobody is interested to hire a manager anymore because all they do is having meeting and having strategic talk. So if AI is having a really good strategic talk, do I really need a manager? So the managers are losing their job. Now what they do, guys, most people, they started driving Uber, okay, or Lyft, okay, or what? DoorDash, just to survive. Now, all of a sudden, you have, let's say, 1 million Uber driver. Now it becomes 2 million. Now, if you have same amount of customers, you have more drivers, more DoorDash drivers. Even I see lots of videos, DoorDash is getting difficult right now. Uber is getting difficult right now. Nobody's making money because you have flood of people losing their job from the middle and they have been pushed down. So this legs and arms economy, can you guys remind me how many people with arms and legs can compete with you? Like there are 8 billion people on earth, they have arms and legs, so they are in the arm leg economy, okay? There are 330 million people in the United States, they all have arms and legs, and they're going to compete with you, right? So therefore, the economy here, it's going to be very high competition. The more people supply that you have working here, the lower income because it's pushing the pressure. So what's going to happen is the only way, either start a business or moving up in this economy. Now, if you think this is my theory, you can take a screenshot right now and ask ChatGPT, sir, ChatGPT, what is barbell economy? And it's going to tell you that because of artificial intelligence, the middle class, the middle way is going to be disappear. Either it's going to be high competency or low competency. Either you have to move on or you have to be pushed down. Okay. So now this is what I'm talking about, right? It's hamster wheel. Why it's hamster wheel? I've seen those hamster running inside the wheel. You're running and you're running and you're running, you're getting nowhere. That's exactly what happened for people in my stage in 2008, right here. You work 60, 80 hours to pay your rent, buy your food. That's it. You run out of money. And then you have to repeat the cycle. So how do we break this toxic cycle and move to the next level in our life? That's something that you want to think. Here's why, right? If you look at this, right? I'm talking about this hamster wheel guy inside the hamster wheel. Let's say he's making $10 an hour, 80 hours a week. Okay, 80 hours a week. This guy is sick and tired of his life. He's tired all the time. Okay, now imagine, how do you become a person who can make 6 times more money, 5 times more money in terms of hourly rate? Here, if you work 80 hours a week, 7 days a week or 6 days a week, right? You have no time left for yourself. You have no time left for self actualization, love, or anything. You don't have time to take your kids to the park because you have to make money all the time. You don't even have time to join the graduation of your son, right? So that's the problem. So now, if you make more money, don't think this is only about money. This is about saving time, because in knowledge economy, if you're solving problem, okay, people are working maximum 30 hours. It's 40 hours a week, but they're working maximum 30 hours, whether they're quality assurance, cybersecurity, IT guy, whatever, right? So $60 an hour and you work 30 hours a week. So how do we break here? Now, if you have the strategy, the transition, you can break that cycle. Once you are in stage from here to here, now you will have what? You will have extra time left for you to do other things in life instead of just working for your rent. Now you have time to invest in your relationship, invest in your education, invest in self actualization, because it requires time and resources and the money. So that is the next level that people need to break into in their life, right? If you are somehow close to that, I cannot assume, but if you were there, what would you do? I would say feasibility study, first step. Here's the thing, if you're immigrant, in the beginning, I have this inferiority complex. Oh, I'm not good enough. If you have similar feeling, you did not see people graduated from American education system. American education system is bad, is very, very dumb. When I hired so many people with master's degrees who were born and raised in the United States, I was so shocked and was like, what is wrong with these people? You know, they don't even know that in Antarctica, I had an employee, he was master's degrees. He didn't know in Antarctica, there's no people are living there. There's no population in Antarctica. I was like, what is wrong with you? Right? So when you have that kind of feeling, okay, I want you to feel good about yourself, because I would say in many countries, whether it's from Turkey or Morocco or China or other places of Central Asia, other places of the world, your education is superior to American education, unless the Ivy League colleges like Harvard, MIT, whatever, right? So don't think that you're less, number one. Number two, you have your core competencies. Let's say in your country, you studied finance, you studied healthcare, you studied something, right? So now when I say feasibility study, I want you to think about what you have already that others don't have. If you study finance, okay, if you study financing back home, how can you maximize your finance degree in the US? Maybe you find the intersection between finance and a technology and AI. Does it make sense? So if somebody learned coding, learn AI, whatever, they would not know finance as a core competency. So now you can learn AI, you can learn cyber, you can learn whatever, right? So once you marry your core competency already that you have with the technical ability, when you put it together, now you're turbocharged. All of a sudden, you have superiority. Some people, they have health, like a care domain, and they cannot practice healthcare in the United States because their degree is not accepted, right? Now you might find the intersection between healthcare and the tech, healthcare and law, for example. Even if you want to become lawyer, with your healthcare degree, it's going to still going to give you a more competitive advantage. When I think about feasibility study, means that What are the competencies and experience and a domain expertise that I have today? The second thing is this: what are the existing knowledge that I have today? I work for an insurance company, I work for the bank, whatever, right? It's also your core competency. Those experience will not go away. So how do you find that core competency that you have, the others don't, and find the intersection between emerging opportunity? Emerging opportunity is still technology, cryptocurrency, AI. So how do you find intersection? That is called feasibility study. So you can have competitive advantage from those who maybe learned coding IT in like West Virginia University, graduated from 4 years degree. You will still be better than those people when you start from the right place. Okay. Now, once you understand which direction you want to go, you have goal. In what period of time should I expect to be successful to break into this particular field, to double, triple, quadruple my income? So you do that. Number three, you reverse engineer to step number one. Because here's the thing, right? You know, the reason that the current education system is so suck is this. Imagine, Hamza, you are going to Miami, and all of us are going Miami. Okay? Miami is a very hot place. But if you pack your coat, your winter clothing, stuff like that in your luggage, it doesn't make sense. You have to pack based on your destination. The problem with the current education is they pack your everything. Why do you have to put your entire closet in 15 different luggages and grab those luggages when you go to Miami? Why can't you just grab one luggage based on a destination? Now, that is why when I say, when you want to achieve certain goal in life, I want you to go to the destination mentally, okay, visualize it, come back and say, you know what, if that's the destination, Miami or job or whatever, career, what do I exactly need? I don't want to take extra luggages. I don't have to put my freaking entire closet to my 15 baggages. I just want one pack and I want to get there fast. That is how you reverse engineer and realistically estimate the time and the money to cost there to get there. Okay. This is the mindset you want to do, right? Now, as I mentioned, the artificial intelligence is pushing either the lower end or the higher end. It's called barbell economy. Now, I would say if you guys are good with, let's say, networking, stuff like that, there's like, we don't do this, we don't teach this part. I mean, you can find, there's lots of data centers right now, okay? Data center business is booming. So you might want to learn how to become a network engineer, for example, or data center engineer. I don't know. There's lots of opportunity in the physical IT jobs as well. IT jobs is not only coding, testing, cybersecurity, it's also physical jobs like this. Either you can choose the cyber QA developer career, or you can choose the physical IT career where you'll be working in the data center. This is two different ways to go. Now, you'll be surprised, guys, right? So, another way to go is in the left, you have this woman starting her own business. That is also a great thing to do in the time of artificial intelligence because the barrier to entry is very low today. Now, I use multiple AI models like Gemini, I use Claude AI, I use ChatGPT, I use Grok, all premium models, okay? I can tell you, I used to hire business consultants, strategic consultants, between $120,000 per year salary, $250,000 salary. This is I paid our employees. They were amazing people. Nothing wrong with that. But today, Gemini, okay, or ChatGPT gives me way better result in terms of market study, research, content development, whatever I want to do in business, even finance and legal. I pay $200 and getting more result from AI for my business than I used to pay this consultants hundreds of thousands of dollars. So if you want to start business today, fantastic time to start business. You can validate your idea, okay? You can have all this hypothesis and say, what is the best way to start a business? What business should I get in? It's amazing. This is one way. If you're not starting that business, you know what? You look at in the right. plumber, electricians. Guys, right now, if you think about American education system, what we did, get a college degree, follow your passion, get a college degree. If you get a college degree, you're gonna find a job. You're gonna have a good life. What people did is they did follow their passion. They studied gender studied theologies, philosophies. Good for you. But tell me who want to hire a philosophy degree to do something? So if you look at today's generation, they look down upon the plumber's job, electrician's job, mechanic's job. So what happened over time is everybody, they have the soft hand, okay? They're like a cotton candy boys. They grew up in the very soft environment. They can't even handle a drill like this. Their hand is shaking. So we have entire generation of incompetent people cannot fix their sink. Now what happens then? The older generation craftsmen, like electrician, okay, woodworker, I don't know how to say woodworker, carpenters, right? HVAC workers, plumbers, they're old enough to retire. Now if the entire old generation is retire, entire new generation, they got their master's degree on theology and a gender study. Who is going to do this job? Oh, that means we have very less people. Okay, less people means more demand. More demand means what? More money. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to look into it. Do you want to become an electrician? The other day, I couldn't fix my electricity. I used I did ChatGPT, whatever. So with my two boys, and it just didn't work out. So I called the electric company. They came, four people. They came. Like they just like because it was a very complicated issue, they worked in 6 hours. They charged me $1,450 to just fix an electrical issue. And then two of them, out of those four people, were young kids. And one girl, she said, I graduated from history. I have a history degree. Good for you. She memorized what George Washington did. Okay, good. Now, who is going to hire her for history? I don't know. She said, after graduation, I couldn't find a job. And that's why I've been working here for 2 weeks. I'm learning. I'm apprentice right now. And it's in this electricity company. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Instead of going to college to learn gender study for 4 years, what you can do is just start working as an HVAC worker, electrician, or plumber. In 4 years, you're going to become master. After 4 years, when you become master, you're going to make six-figure salary. After 4 years, maybe working 2 more years, 3 more years, if you're smart enough or hardworking enough, you can start your own plumbing company, electrician company. You can do that too. Michael and Son, they're generating $2 million a day. It's like plumbing company. When you look down a plumber, they make more money than you, right? So that is why this is something that you should look into as well. So it's not like because Sideo provides QA automation training, therefore you have to take this. No, there's other opportunities as well. But you just have to think about which one you feel like you're more connected, right? So it's better instead of studying 4 years in the college, get your degree and not able to find a job, than working for electrician to become master electrician and you will make more money, okay? Now, once you decide whether you want to become QA automation engineer or, IT workers in the data center, or you want to start your business, you want to become electrician or plumber, let's say, think about it. And then you can say, you know what? How do I get there? One of the way is very important that I believe is cutting your expenses. Why? Because the reason, if you think this way, this guy could not paint Picasso, could not paint Mona Lisa because he was desperate about his expenses, his daily expenses or his budget. So what do you do now? You have to cut your expenses to live bare minimum. When I started learning coding, what I did is I left the apartment. I lived in somebody else's basement for $800, right? That means that my 6 months rent that time is $4,800. 6 months rent. So $5,000, my rent is taken care. $5,000 for 6 months, say 6 months, my grocery is taken care. If I have $10,000 money that I saved up, I can work bare minimum, still survive, and I can invest my leftover time on developing that competency, whether it's HVAC, whether it's starting a business, whatever you want to do, because you're not pressure to pay your rent and rent your time out to pay your rent. Now you have saved time. You can invest your time to improve your life. So that is the way to do it, right? Now, here's the thing, isn't it? Let's assume career transition is like a tomato, right? So let's say it's a reasonable short period, whether it's 7 months to 1 year or 18 months. I would say, depending on people's situation, that is a good period of time that people should think of that in investing their time. Okay. So now let's assume we have more than 14,000 alumni. Okay. So what do you think when people start, let's say somebody they were making $40,000 and they got offered for $120,000. So what do you think is the most likely the first thing they do? What do you think the person making $40,000 a year get offer for $120,000 and start making $120,000 and there's $80,000 difference in salary? What does this people do in the first? Yes, exactly. What they do is this, guys. Okay? This is the next level. I do apologize, right? I told you in the beginning, I said I'm very straightforward. Back in the days, there was slavery. So they were beating the slaveries to pick cottons and work and stuff like that. And let's assume in one day, they could make, let's say, $10 out of one slave by slaving them, physically forcing them to work. Let's say if it's $10 a day, $30 a month, 30 days a month, $3,000 worth of value created for those owners. Now, today, if you have mortgage, a large house that you don't need, if you have a car payment where you could drive Toyota Corolla that you can pay cash, but you got BMW or Mercedes just because you want to look good. Now you're paying interest in that. So now you have Gucci and you have expensive watch. You go to expensive dinner. So what are you doing is there's banking system. There are people printing money and lending out to you. So now what you do is people happily become a consumer, okay? Those consumers, through interest, paying lots of interest, they serve their masters. Before, slaves were forced to work. Today, slaves are very happy because they're very Gucci. They're very happy. So how much they're producing per month? Some people pay $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I would say a year or a month, depending on how much they're spending, they are paying interest and serving their masters. Now you tell me, aren't they a happy slaves today? At the end of the day, aren't they slave anyway? So when people, as soon as they make into like a six-figure income bracket, this is what most people do. So here's the thing. As soon as you buy this Gucci t-shirt for $400, which is what poor people do, they want to show their Gucci. Don't do that. If you're a man, never wear Gucci, Coach. It's cliche. It's cringe. Don't do it. Okay? Be a man. Don't do that. It's ugly. It's stupid. So now, as soon as you pay $400 for this t-shirt, the next day it doesn't worth $40. 90% value is gone. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you pay expensive car payment? Now, what do you got to do? Remember I said this, guys? Remember I said tomato takes 6 months, right? You're harvesting fruit and tomato. Do you want to have something that is more permanent? Let's think about apple tree. Assume we're in September, full of apple in the tree. And assume you're a teenager and there's gas came to your house. And your dad wanted to serve that apple to his friends. And he said, son, bring apple. So what you did, or this teenager did, is he chopped down the apple tree and dragged the trunk or the entire tree to his house with the tractor. Daddy, I brought you apple. Now, you're like, Kuzat, are you insane? What kind of analogy is this? Isn't it this kid so stupid? Why? Because you're just chopping down the entire tree. If you don't chop down the tree, what can you do? You can harvest apple for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life, every single year, it will give you apple if you don't chop down. So that means that if I have these resources, I would maintain the apple tree and I will harvest apple, sell the apple, eat the apple, but I will never chop down the apple tree. Does it make sense to you? Now, if your income is apple tree, you see that? Buying Gucci shirt, financing expensive car, buying the things that you don't need is the same stupid thing that you're chopping down the apple tree. What you do instead, you grow apple tree and then you eat the apple. That means that you learn how to invest your additional income to value producing assets. And then once that asset grows, you spend the profit, you don't cut down the tree. And for the rest of your life, you don't have to work anymore. Otherwise, you will work like a slave until end of your life. You know what? Don't get me wrong. 99% people don't invest. 99% people, they have higher salary, bigger house, bigger car, bigger t-shirt. That's it, done. They live paycheck to paycheck. And they're poor for the rest of their life. There are poor people who look rich. But what you want to do is you want to invest, grow, and harvest from the apple instead of chop down the apple tree. Do you guys understand this? This is probably one of the most important slides that you guys need to understand. So therefore, what do you do now? Let's say you make $100,000 a year. Let's say you have dispensable income. Stop drinking Starbucks coffee. Stop buying Gucci. Stop wasting your money on the things. What do? Slowly, you started investing on those things. Because remember I said we are Insta eat, Insta drink, Insta watch, Insta gratification, Insta satisfaction, Insta result. You know what? You invest in some asset and you don't see the result the next day. Oh, where's my apple? Bro, you planted the tree yesterday. Where's the apple? Oh, okay, you have to wait for at least 5 years. Didn't you want, for example, today, like, let's say, don't invest in crypto, by the way, without learning it. Assume 5 years ago, some cryptocurrencies was like, let's say Bitcoin. Okay, I don't have Bitcoin. I just give you an example in the sake of giving an example. 5 years ago, it's like a few $1,000s. Today is $100,000 or $90,000. Like imagine you buy one Bitcoin for $5,000 today, but you have $100,000 5 years ago, but you had to wait for 5 years. This is an extreme example. But if you think about it, most people, they invest their money and that they just go crazy. We're not getting the result. But when you zoom out for 5 years, you will get apple trees. So it's about patience. Sometimes when you invest, after investing, the best thing to do is do nothing. Just wait. Does it make sense, guys? This is what you want to do when you have a higher level of income instead of becoming a loser like this. I want you to really, really remember this part today. Okay? Now, do you guys remember this? What is this? This is Ocean Gate. What happened is there were some billionaires. They paid $250,000 to see Titanic and they died. Okay? It got imploded, Norbeck, right? So imagine billionaires. They can buy yacht. They can buy jet. They can buy Epstein Island and they can buy politicians, isn't it? But these billionaires, could they buy extra time? Let's say the angel of death, Azrael, came. Hey, bro, it's time. And they're like, hey, actually, I'm a billionaire. Okay? The angel of death is Azrael and came to this billionaire. And the billionaire is like, they bought everybody. They got used to it. They bought even politicians. They got used to it. They got money. It was like, hey, Jibril, you know how much my net worth? Do you know how much money I have? Billions. I'll give you a billion. Give me 2 more minutes. Let me at least make a phone call to my wife, all these things, my will. Could they buy extra minute? They couldn't. So now I want you to think that those billionaires, you are richer than all those billionaires because you have 24 hours a day. The most valuable asset that you have in life, which is not reproducible, is your time. If you lost money, you can make money. If you lost your job, you can start another job. If you lost your business, you can start another one. But when the time is gone, it doesn't come back anymore. You cannot produce more time. Nobody has ever produced more time in the history. Therefore, money is the most important asset that you have in life. Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you have budget, monthly financial budget? If you have monthly financial budget, you don't spend money like this, right? Oh, I make $5,000, but I spend $18,000 per month because I don't care about the budget. You don't do that. If you make $5,000 a month, overhead $1,200, grocery $800, $2,000, tax max, this and that, and then you have to spend accordingly, right? But the money you can always make. But you have budget for your money, which Federal Reserve can print billions, trillions overnight to create more money. But are you telling me you don't have budget for your time? Do you have budget for your time? Let's be honest, okay? God is watching. Have you ever budgeted your time? See that so many people did not have the concept of budgeting their time. So today, I want you to understand, it's not how many billions you have in your account. It's about your time. That is why it says, well, asr. If you understood, you understood. That's why it says, well, asr. God is swearing on time. Time. So look at this. So now you have the budget for your $2.99 per month, but you don't have budget for your time, which is bad. Now every day, when I have budget, I have 24 hours. I sleep 8 hours. I pray 1 hour. I study X hours. I do this, I do that. When you don't have millions of dollars to invest, so you invest your time in the right place so you can make millions in the future. Does it make sense? So some people choose to invest their time in Netflix while you invested 96 minutes to this session. So far, was it worth it so far? So you invested your time here. So when others are wasting that resources, you invest it in the right place that will create value in you. Over time, that's going to add up and make you successful. And this is data. Let the data speak. Global average of phone usage is 6 hours, 45 minutes, one day, 6 hours. US, 7 hours. 7 hours people are wasting a day. You know, average person, they pull up their phone from their back pocket 205 times a day. Now you think other people are drug addict? You look down somebody's using marijuana. Oh, poor guy, he's using marijuana, it's so bad. And then you're addicted to your phone, so you're better addict? What is that? It's hypocrisy. We're addicted to our phone. Our phone, we're slave to our phone. That is why Mark Zuckerberg is richer than you, because we're always like this. That is why all these companies are richer than you, because we're always like this. They're making money by burning our life. You know what I'm saying? So imagine you come here. I would say, what did I say here? If your hourly rate was going to be 60 hours an hour, okay? If you invested your time instead of, you see that? People over annually in America, average, they're spending $2,500 in a year. 2,500 hours a year on their phone, scrolling up and down, left and right. 2,500. So assume instead of doing that, you're invested your time to gain new skills, start your business, whatever, to increase your income, right? Let's assume one day you're making $60 an hour. You know what's going to happen? Let me do my calculation. Even though I'm Asian, I'm not good at math. So 2,500 times $60 is like $150,000 value in terms of your hourly rate. Once you get into that place, then you can think, you know what? I break this hamster wheel cycle, right? This hamster wheel cycle. Now I'm making more money. Now, instead of being this guy, now I can start planting my apple trees, which is value producing assets. And then in 5 years, you may be able to retire when everybody's going to work for the rest of their life. Therefore, guys, I want you to remember, Americans are spending 2,500 hours a year on their phone. What did I say earlier? I said there's a donkey team and there's elephant team, there's soccer teams. If one side is drug addict, I mean, you don't have to do that much. You just have to quit the drug. You just have to quit the drug. That's it. Be a normal person. You're going to win the competition. When everybody is spending 2,500 hours a year, you can invest half of this time to empower yourself, to learn the skills like business, communication, public speaking, problem solving, critical thinking, coding. I would say context engineering or prompt engineering, AI. Now, what you're going to do is you can become the person that is going to push yourself up in this barbell economy instead of getting pushed down. And from there, you can start investing in your future and become an investor and having a better life in your future. So just remember, most people are spending 2,500 hours of a year. And where do you want to invest this time? For 2026, it's going to be probably the most important decision of your life. That's it, guys. I talk about AI. I think for H1B, we don't have time. And I hope this session was useful for you. And I hope that I didn't waste your time. Today, I want to end the session right here. I can do a little bit Q&A because I wanted to kind of leave a time for Q&A as well. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. I appreciate your time, and I hope that you guys had a great time today. So at the end, if you ever interested to joining one of our programs, it's really quick, okay? You go to program. I would recommend QA automation program. You can check it out. You can join our intro session. We have a class starting in January. And the reason is quality assurance became very important is used to be writing code was more technical skill set. Now developers are using AI to write code 10 times more, 10 times fast. And we're having lots of quality issues in software. Right now, economy is bad. But when the economy start bouncing back, the need for quality assurance engineers is going to be increased, not decreased. So this only thing that's the reason that I would actually recommend the quality assurance course. And it's very realistic, very affordable. And we support our students until they find a job. And I will be one of the instructors, and I will send you guys email. But that's it. I don't want to speak more than 3 minutes on this thing because I don't want to make it about like promoting our program. I want to genuinely make it useful for you. Thank you for your time, guys. When you raise your hand, I can answer your questions as well. I can unmute you, but I can start answering the questions, okay? Thank you, guys. My current English is B1, B2, sufficient to the enroll program, or would I be better to wait until improve my English starting? So here's the thing, okay? This is a very good question. When I came to the United States, I didn't speak English. And I went to Fairfax County Adult Community Public School to learn English. And then the book of English was all about cashier, construction workers, stuff like that. Or like, bro, why are you brainwashing immigrant like me to become cashier? I don't want to be cashier. Right? So now all English is not equal. There's some English, like in IT, let's say maybe there's a 1,000 vocabularies or terminologies you have to learn. And therefore, when you start this program, what's going to happen is you're going to learn IT skills at the same time. You don't have to learn astronomy, physics, and biology English. Just focus on IT English. So your English will be improved as well. So B1 is sufficient. You can get started. By the time you graduated, you'll be both. Your English will be better, specifically in IT, and your technical skill set will be better. The only thing is this: you have to practice public speaking because when you go to interview, it's all about speaking. Right? So you just have to, we give you like a guidance to how to record yourself, how to develop your public speaking skills. So that's my responsibility for your class to teach public speaking during the program. Okay? So now that's one question. And the second question he's asking is, should I do cybersecurity or software quality assurance, which is SDAT? My experience is this. Though when you search cybersecurity in the job websites, okay, there's lots of cybersecurity jobs, but the placement rate of cybersecurity is lower than the software quality assurance. There are way more software quality assurance placement than the cybersecurity. When I look into it, why? I would say all the entry-level jobs are gone in cybersecurity because of AI, and there's senior jobs left, right? And what happens is, if you think from 5 years trajectory, cyber is better. Do cyber. If you don't have money problem, you want to start cybersecurity business in the future, you're so passionate about cybersecurity, do cybersecurity. But if your objective is find a job, if your objective is find a job in the US for let's say within 12 months. Software quality assurance is like very straightforward. Anyone can do path. So that's the objective. Do cyber as QA. But if you're passionate about the cyber and the result of getting job very fast is not that important, you can do cyber. So this is my honest advice. Okay. What guarantees? Okay, do you guys provide guarantees, right? Do you guarantee job placement? So here's the thing, guys. Good question. Now think about it. People go to four-year college. They spend $100,000 to learn gender study, right? And do colleges promise you a job? No. So people go to college, spend 4 years, $100,000. They don't hold college accountable to place them to give a job. Most college graduates are jobless right now. So you want to come for a 6 months program and pay fraction of the cost, and you want to hold us responsible for you getting a job, which is unrealistic expectation. Number one, it's not fair. Number two, let's say we sign up for the gym. Khalil, are you there? Let's say we sign up for the gym, Khalil, with you. And we call the CEO of the gym, hey, Equinox, you are a very expensive gym. I pay you $300 a month. Do you guarantee muscle? I was like, bro, of course not. Show up, work out, right? If you work out, show up every single day. Yeah, of course, why not? But if you don't show up, there's nobody can guarantee your muscle. So therefore, anyone says job placement guarantee, they're lying. Seriously, it's not my style. Somebody will tell you that when you go to different boot camps, they will tell you job placement guarantee, and then they will let you sign 300-page contract. In the contract, if you miss the homework, you don't qualify. If you miss the class, you don't qualify. I don't do that. Not guaranteed, that's it. I don't play with the contract with you, man. I don't do that, okay? But our guarantee is, for this program, in the world, you're going to get the best one. That's my guarantee because I know. If I'm confident, I will speak about it. Number two, we will not let you down. We will continue to support you until you find a job. That's it. That's our guarantee, okay? Whenever from India, a content language-based QA for audio company based on US freelancer. I want to do this full time. I'm not sure about that. What do you know about chance of older graduates, 50 years old, 50 and have a 20 years of HR background in US? Svelte, we do have people, they are older than, let's say, when I say older than 50, I don't want to make it like disrespectful, but let's say their age is higher than 50. And I would say in the past years or so, we've been in business for 10 years, at least there are 1,000 people graduate from our program working in IT, they're 50 and above, okay? The age is not the issue. The age is not issue. But the problem is when you go to market, some people might prefer younger graduates. So if you understand that when you go to market, if you go to few interviews, even though you did well and you don't get offer, you just have to move on. If you're okay with that, you will have no issue to find a job and be successful. But when you get rejected because of your age, because obviously it's illegal, but they're not going to make it obvious. Then if you get depressed, stuff like that, so you know right now, there's like unspoken age discrimination in IT. Now, I think in the time of artificial intelligence, the technical competency will become less important. It's important, but it's less important. Let's say there are a person who is 7 out of 10 technically, and you're 6 out of 10 technically. However, when you both use artificial intelligence to empower yourself technically, the technical problems can be solved. Now, if the technical competency becomes, if AI becomes technical equalizer, do you know technical equalizer? AI technical equalizer? Let's assume we're in the highway. 20 years old young man on the highway on the Porsche, and you have the same Porsche, but you are 60 years old in the same highway, okay? Because highway is the same, the car is the same, the younger guy is not going to run faster than you. You have the same vehicle. So the highway and the Porsche is equalizer. It's equalizing you guys. Just like that, in IT now, AI is equalizer. We can use AI to solve many technical problems. Oh, when a technical problem is solved, now what's going to be more important is going to be personal. It's going to be something that AI cannot do, which people with 50 years of experience, or 50 years old or about 20, 30 years of domain expertise, stuff like that, their problem solving, their leadership, their soft skills, their emotional intelligence, their domain expertise become more important and give them competitive advantage. So the world is still fair, okay? So they have something that you don't, okay? But you have that something that they don't. So you just have to move on in life and figure out your own way, but it's still fair game, okay? How many days per week? It's online, okay? We have 2 days mentoring session. Me, Mukhtar, Muradil, our legendary instructors, we do have different mentoring sessions, but 4 hours in the weekend, okay? 4 hours in the weekend, we have class, but during the weekdays, we have mentoring sessions. Highly recommended to join, and I will be teaching as well, right? That is how it works. It used to be in the weekend, it was like 6 hours. But we've learned is after like 4 hours, people are lost because it's coding, Java, data structure, algorithm, API. People got lost. After lunch, they're gone. We're just wasting their time. So what we start experimenting is 4 hours is sweet, and then after that, we give them time to practice. So it's actually better right now in terms of outcome, okay? Which option is better for engineering college graduate pivoting to QA or cybersecurity or learning coding to find a better job related to their job market? So here's the thing, okay? In a time of artificial intelligence, it is very important to be specialized on something that really, really well. When you say learn coding, it is kind of very generic. I am very good person. Hire me, right? So what do you mean by good, right? So it's kind of very generic thing. So now you want to focus on something. Either you want to laser focus on cybersecurity and you become a penetration tester, threat intelligence analyst, I don't know, right? Or you can become QA as well. And I would say QA is very straightforward and you will have competitive advantage if you have an engineering background. And it's very solid. It's very solid career. So once you get into QA, because it's realistically able, it's like very good way to get break into tech, you can pivot from there. When most people they have IT job, they spend their money on Gucci and Chanel, and they just go to vacation. The goal is get a IT job, make more money, save more time, using that money and time to move up in life. So if you want to pivot after QA, you can say AI testing, machine learning. I would say testing engineers because not everybody's going to build AI. You see that Amazon, I would say XAI, OpenAI, Google. There's a couple companies will build AI, and everybody else will use that AI to build something on top. So that time, it's going to become very complicated QA process. So specializing on that will give you competitive advantage. So you can pivot from there. Okay. Do you teach AI strictly? And what do you think of programs specifically focused on this? So AI is this, okay? Think AI as a tool. AI is a tool, and we teach you how to use tool better than anyone else. It's about I don't want to use prompt engineering because it's just like too cliche at this point, but we want to teach you to learn how to use AI better than anyone else. That's number one. We're going to teach you context engineering, prompt engineering. We're going to teach you tools like anti-gravity, Codex, right? Cloud AI, using this large language model to generate genuinely good code so you can empower yourself. These are the things we're going to teach, not only from the technical perspective, also from problem solving perspective, how we can use AI better. Now, on top of that, we also teach after you graduate, because this is like very focused program. After you graduate, we teach, we're now developing curriculum for our alumni for Python, and it's called LangChain technology. So LangChain is how you build AI agents. So it's like very high level stuff. We're not there yet, but once you finish this program, you'll be able to learn how to build AI agents as well. But we're not there yet. I have engineering back. I am learning ServiceNow well for testing as well. Would you be helpful for me? Since I don't know ServiceNow, so I'm sorry, I just don't know what is ServiceNow. But I would say In general, learning a skill is always good. Learning new skills is always good. I cannot compare something that I know and I don't, so I just don't have the answer for that, okay? Sorry about that. Okay, guys, I think I answered all the questions and we are wrapping up 2 hours. We said 2 hours, so I want to respect your time and God bless you all. Hello, you said that you are engaged in training. You will leave live session as well as weekend. What about on weekdays? What time? Weekdays is generally evenings, okay? It's like after work, let's say 6 or 7 p.m., and then until 9 or something. But weekends is going to be either Saturday or Sunday. I don't have the schedule right now, but we will send you guys the schedule, okay? Weekdays is going to be always recorded, and you will have always access for those classes. And it's going to be after work because most of our students are adult. They have jobs, okay? Okay, guys, I genuinely hope that this session was useful for you, and thank you for your time. I wish you all the best and a beautiful 2026. And just remember, a tomato takes 6 months, an apple tree takes 5 years. Most people, they're insta now, insta satisfaction, insta gratification. That is why they don't make it. And when you do anything in life, please have right expectation. And if you join our program, starting from next year, I'll be one of your mentor. Take care, guys, okay? Have a good day. God bless you all.